Good morning, listeners. We're live, tuning in directly to the beating heart of our daily routines. The sun rises on the horizon, tinting the sky a soft gold as the city slowly awakens. You're tuning the radio, that faithful morning companion that fills the house with music and news, a constant at the start of each new day. Around you, the world unfolds with its usual symphony. The hiss of the coffee maker, the hurried footsteps on the sidewalks, and the unmistakable sound of the radio, flowing softly and familiarly. The familiar voices of the announcers bring the reassurance that the day will go on like any other. The programming continues, interspersing musical hits with local news. It's a day like any other, or so it seems. But as the music plays, there's something in the air. A vague sensation, perhaps imperceptible, like a note out of time. You adjust the volume, trying to catch some subtle detail that might explain this unease, but everything seems so normal. The city continues to breathe, cars move about their daily routines, people cross the streets, immersed in their own worlds. Suddenly, an interruption. The music stops, replaced by an unsettling silence. The announcer's voice returns, but now with a different tone, charged with urgency. Something has happened. Something no one expected. Reports begin to come in from all sides, many disappearing, without warning, without a trace. In the blink of an eye, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. You listen intently, in disbelief, as the voice on the radio tries to make sense of the unfolding chaos. The city, which seemed so familiar just minutes ago, is now the stage for an impenetrable mystery. What was once an ordinary day now transforms into a journey filled with uncertainty. Routine gives way to perplexity, and the search for answers begins. The world around you changes rapidly, and you feel the impact of this reality. What's happening? Where has everyone gone? Questions begin to pile up, while the radio, which once brought comfort, is now the only connection to what seems like a new reality. Stay tuned. Join us as we try to unravel this enigma that defies comprehension. Ladies and gentlemen, tune your ears and prepare your hearts for an unprecedented report. Here I am, in the eye of a hurricane of events that challenge our very understanding of reality. We are at the center of a historic crossroads, where the world seems to have changed in the blink of an eye. An omen had loomed over us, but no one could have predicted the magnitude of what followed. It all began almost imperceptibly, a small tremor in the world's frequency. People looked up at the sky, intrigued, feeling an inexplicable chill. Then, in a sudden twist, the sound disappeared. It wasn't just the ordinary silence that follows a symphony's pause, but an absolute void, a silence that seemed to have swallowed existence itself. The sound of the wind in the trees, the murmur of the crowds, the laughter and the cries, all faded like mist beneath the midday sun. And then the voices disappeared. Where once there was life in every corner, now there was only absence. People, whole and suddenly, ceased to exist. Streets teeming with activity became deserts of asphalt and concrete. Cars stood abandoned in full motion, their doors open like silent mouths in a halting scream. Those who remain look around, stunned and disbelieving, as if awakening from a nightmare they insist they don't understand. Their eyes scan the horizon in search of answers, but find only more questions. What took so many and left others? Why some and not all? Answers remain elusive, hidden in the silence that now rules the world. Cities, those vast, pulsating organisms, now resemble concrete corpses. Buildings that once vibrated with human life are now silent monuments to the unknown. The air feels heavy, as if the oxygen itself were imbued with an unrevealed mystery. Timelines blur, and what was once certain now dissolves into uncertainty. A turning point has been reached, and nothing will be the same again. The remaining people look into each other's eyes, seeking solace in the unknown, waiting for a word, a sign, anything that might explain the inexplicable. In this apocalyptic scenario, we face a new era, a new reality. Humanity, stunned, is forced to reevaluate its place in the cosmos. The omen has been fulfilled, the turning point has been crossed, and we are all witnesses to this singular moment in world history. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your biblical Frontline Reporter, reporting directly from a world in shock. The streets are deserted, cars abandoned in chaotic positions, and a deafening silence hangs in the air, interrupted only by distant sirens and sporadic screams. What was once an ordinary day has become an unfathomable enigma, with millions of people simply missing without a trace. I'm here, at the epicenter of this inexplicable phenomenon, following the reactions of those left behind. People are completely disoriented, their eyes wide open, trying to process the magnitude of what they've just witnessed, or rather, what they couldn't witness. This is the first step on a journey that promises to be long and full of uncertainty. The search for answers begins here, in the streets, where small groups desperately gather, become makeshift meeting points. The desperation is palpable. Some cling to their cell phones, trying to reach loved ones who no longer answer. Others, in trembling voices, whisper theories, from abductions to secret government experiments, but the truth is that no one knows for sure what happened. I stand next to a woman who, with tears in her eyes, holds a photo of her children. Her determination reflects the spirit of many here, who refuse to allow themselves to be paralyzed by fear. They are determined to find answers, to understand the inexplicable, to resist the temptation of absolute panic. On street corners, churches open their doors, offering shelter and a space for reflection. The soft sound of hymns drifts toward us, an attempt to find comfort amidst the chaos. Elsewhere, a community leader improvises a speech, urging everyone to unite, not to lose faith, to continue seeking, questioning, and investigating. The decision is unanimous: they will not rest until the mystery is solved. As dusk settles in, this is just the beginning of a new era of uncertainty and discovery. The night promises to be long, but determination seems unbreakable. We will remain here, following every step of this search for answers, in a world that has suddenly become unrecognizable. Stay with us as we unravel this enigma that defies comprehension. Here we are, at the epicenter of an event that defies reality itself. People have disappeared, millions of them, without a trace. The streets are empty, echoing an eerie serenity. Yet the calm is only superficial. There's a palpable tension in the air as those who remain try to make sense of what's happening. The first moments were pure chaos, but as the dust settles, new challenges and, surprisingly, unlikely allies begin to emerge. We see groups forming in abandoned cities, people who would never have met under normal circumstances now acting together. Here, a businessman and a mechanic join forces, scavenging for supplies and trying to restore some sense of normalcy. There, a nurse and a teacher try to gather information, searching for any clue that might explain the mass disappearance. This new reality doesn't discriminate, everyone has been affected, everyone is searching for answers. But not everyone is willing to cooperate. Shadowy figures emerge from the shadows, ready to exploit the chaos. Reports of looting and violence begin to emerge, while others desperately try to protect their families. Alliances are formed not only out of necessity, but also for survival. These groups face monumental challenges, both external and internal, as they struggle to keep hope alive. Amidst this turmoil, strange discoveries occur. Some speak of visions, inexplicable dreams that seem to connect the events to a larger, mystical, perhaps even divine plan. Others find objects left behind, enigmatic clues that only deepen the mystery. Ancient scriptures are revisited, seeking meaning in words many previously ignored. It is in this uncertain landscape that unlikely allies emerge. We meet a police officer and a former inmate, now working together, overcoming their differences for the greater good. This new fraternity, born of adversity, awakens the essence of humanity, proving that even in the darkest hours, light can prevail. The road is arduous, and the path ahead is shrouded in fog. But around every corner, on every face, there is a fierce determination. The world may have changed, but the human spirit remains unshaken. All together, facing the unknown, discovering that sometimes it is enemies who become friends, and strangers who become family. Our cameras capture every moment, every emotion. The struggle, the hope, the unity. We will continue here, documenting this unprecedented story, as the world searches for answers and hope amid the inexplicable. Stay with us as we continue reporting live from the front lines of this extraordinary biblical event. We are here, in the heart of a chaotic and surreal landscape. The world around us seems to be falling apart, but amidst all this confusion, signs of hope emerge. Humanity, visibly shaken by the sudden absence of millions, tries to cling to any vestige of normalcy. There is an eerie silence in the air, as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for an explanation that has not yet come. On the streets, I see people gathered in small groups, their faces etched with expressions of bewilderment and fear. Yet there's also a palpable determination, a desire to understand the inexplicable. At various points throughout the city, religious leaders, scientists, and authorities gather, discussing theories and possibilities. There are murmurs of hope, while some are convinced that this event is a midterm, a test that humanity must face and overcome. In temples and churches, prayers intensify. People seek answers in the scriptures, believing the key to understanding what happened lies there, hidden in the ancient words. Elsewhere, scientists pore over graphs and data, trying to find a scientific logic behind the disappearance. Some believe they are close to a breakthrough, an illusion of understanding that offers a glimpse of victory, albeit a false one. This false victory, however, brings no true comfort. The explanations that emerge are fragile and quickly crumble under the weight of unanswered questions. Yet hope persists, like a flickering flame on a windy night. Humanity clings to any sign of normalcy, any vestige that everything can be resolved, that those who disappeared might return. Meanwhile, reports of mysterious encounters, visions, and unexplained experiences flood social media, fueling both hope and despair. The line between reality and illusion becomes increasingly blurred as people try to make sense of what appears to be a collective nightmare. But despite the confusion, human resilience manifests itself in the search for answers and the determination not to surrender to chaos. Here, at the epicenter of this global enigma, we witness the human spirit at its rawest and most vulnerable. Even amidst uncertainty, hope refuses to die. This is a testing time for humanity, a test that, we hope, will lead to true understanding, not further illusions. We will continue to follow every development, every clue, in the relentless search for answers. Stay with us as we search for the truth, amidst the darkness and the light. Here we are, at the epicenter of what can only be described as the darkest moment in recent human history. The scene is desolate. The streets, which once throbbed with daily life, are now vast, empty concrete corridors. The deafening silence is interrupted only by the solitary echo of the footsteps of those few who still wander, perplexed, trying to understand what happened. With millions of people suddenly missing, a blanket of total isolation has descended upon cities and towns. The voices that once filled the air, the laughter that warmed hearts, all of it is gone, leaving a frightening void behind. Families are left in despair, frantically searching for their loved ones, only to find empty rooms and cold beds. Markets, once vibrant centers of commerce, are now caverns of solitude. On the shelves, products gather dust, their labels become silent reminders of time that has stood still. The air smells of abandonment, and anguish hangs like a thick fog. Those who remain look at their neighbors, and on each face reads the same agonizing question: why are we still here? Communications are cut, phone lines are dead, and the radio, a constant companion, now offers only intermittent static. People crowd around devices, waiting for a friendly voice, an explanation, some guidance. But no answer comes, and loneliness weighs like a stone on humanity's chest. Essential services struggle to operate. Lights flicker, water runs low. It's as if the world is falling apart, one piece at a time. The faith of many is tested. In silent temples, people kneel, their prayers uttered in tears. They seek comfort, but divine answers seem as distant as the stars. As night falls, bringing with it a biting cold, the darkness is not just physical but emotional. Hope is a fading flame, flickering against the wind of despair. The only certainty left is the uncertainty of tomorrow. Here, in the eye of this hurricane of desolation, we witness the fragility of civilization and the relentless force of the unknown. Isolation deepens, and with it, despair becomes almost palpable. And so, humanity waits, caught between reality and mystery, yearning for a dawn that will bring answers and, perhaps, a glimmer of hope. This is the biblical Frontline Reporter, reporting live from the epicenter of an event that is shaking the foundations of reality as we know it. The unsettling silence following the disappearance of millions of people is shattered, revealing a new and devastating truth. Here in Jerusalem, the atmosphere is charged with anticipation and fear. The streets, now less populated, echo with murmurs of uncertainty, as those who remain desperately search for answers. I'm following a group gathered on the Mount of Olives, where it seems a new hope emerges amidst the chaos. People of all nations, cultures, and faiths have come together, their voices unanimous in prayer and a search for explanations. The sky above, a vast blue canvas, begins to transform. Swift, golden clouds move with an otherworldly intensity, as if time itself were bending. Suddenly, a radiant glow pierces the sky. It's as if a curtain has parted, revealing a celestial vision. A luminous, majestic figure hovers on the horizon. It's a moment of unveiling, where truth and hope intertwine in an almost tangible way. The figure's face, indescribable in its beauty, exudes a peace that seems to calm the whirlwind of emotions around us. Reports reaching us are that this is the manifestation of an ancient promise, a long-awaited revelation. Among those present, tears flow as smiles break across faces previously marked by despair. There is a growing sense that this is a new beginning, a chance for humanity to reconcile with something greater than itself. The murmur of the crowd becomes a symphony of renewed hope. People embrace, connected by an understanding that transcends words. Fear and doubt, at least for a moment, are replaced by renewed faith. It's a scene that defies logic, but resonates deeply in the hearts of everyone present. As the sun begins to set, tinting the sky with hues of orange and purple, the figure slowly dissolves, leaving a sense of purpose and renewal. This encounter with truth not only challenges human understanding but offers new hope in a world teetering on the brink. Here, in this ancient land, a new chapter opens, and I, your reporter, am here to witness and report every moment of this extraordinary journey. Stay tuned, for the story is far from over. Here we are, in the eye of the storm, where humanity's fate seems to hang by a thread. The sky, a celestial battlefield, is torn apart in a spectacle of light and shadow, as invisible forces prepare for the decisive confrontation. The earth trembles beneath our feet, as if the very ground itself is aware of the magnitude of this moment. The air vibrates, charged with an almost palpable tension, as an incomprehensible force approaches, irresistible and overwhelming. Those who remain, those who still walk this depopulated world, gather, eyes wide, hearts pounding wildly. They cling to any lingering hope, waiting for a sign, an answer to the mystery that surrounds them. It's a scene unlike anything seen before, where reality seems to buckle under the weight of the inexplicable. The atmosphere is charged, and a sound of trumpets resounds in the distance, reverberating through the valleys and mountains, like a call that cannot be ignored. There, on the horizon, a light unlike anything we know begins to emerge, a clarity that doesn't blind, but illuminates the essence of what it means to be human. Suddenly, everything falls still. The silence is absolute, interrupted only by the sound of hearts beating in unison, as if each pulse were an echo of the very soul of the world. And then, they appear, the heavenly hosts, figures of indescribable majesty, advancing with firm purpose. The confrontation is about to unfold. The forces of good and evil align, preparing for the final clash. Their faces reveal determination, each expression a mixture of fear and courage. Their eyes, glued to the unfolding scene, bear witness to what was previously unimaginable. The decisive confrontation is not merely physical, but a battle for hearts and minds, a choice between light and darkness, between fear and faith. And so, on this stage of cosmic proportions, the climax of human destiny unfolds. Hope and despair dance a final waltz as the cosmic scales tip from one side to the other. It is the crossroads of destiny, where every choice resonates with eternity. This is the moment that will define everything, a confrontation that transcends time and space, where fate finally finds its outcome. Here, in this instant, we face what has always been lurking, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. And now, we can no longer retreat. Destiny stands before us, and the confrontation begins. This is the biblical Frontline Reporter, bringing you news of a reality that defies comprehension. The earth is convulsed in silent chaos, the result of an unprecedented event. Millions of people have disappeared without a trace. The once vibrant cities now echo an almost palpable lament, a kind of emptiness that reverberates between the buildings, in the deserted streets, in the hearts of those left behind. Here in New York, Times Square, once a sea of faces, now resembles an unfinished painting. Signs blink to no one, while abandoned cars create a cacophony of alarms that no one turns off. The world as we know it has been abruptly torn apart. The lights still shine, but the energy that powers them is intrinsically linked to the fragile human tissue that sustains them. With fewer hands to operate them, everything threatens to go dark. Inland, the farms are silent. The sound of tractors, cattle, and constant work has been replaced by a disconcerting silence. The smell of the earth, once a symbol of productivity and life, now carries a note of abandonment. It's as if nature itself is in mourning, aware of the absence of those who once cared for it. In churches around the world, there is confusion and a search for answers. People gather, trying to find solace in one another, trying to understand the incomprehensible. Empty pews speak of departed souls, and those who remain look to the heavens, searching for signs, seeking hope amid despair. In houses and apartments, families gaze at each other in silence. Photographs of the missing are now relics of a past that disintegrated in the blink of an eye. Loneliness is almost tangible, replacing laughter and conversation with echoes of what once was. It's a new normal, where absence has become a constant presence. Global trade is collapsing, with supply chains disrupted and entire economies paralyzed. In markets around the world, shelves are empty, reflecting the shortages that spread like wildfire. Governments are rallying in search of solutions, but time is cruel, and uncertainty is the only certainty in this scenario. The world, transformed by this massive disappearance, stands on the brink of a precipice, a defining moment in human history. Amid this new reality, one question persists: what does tomorrow hold? As we try to find our way through the unknown, human resilience is being tested like never before. Stay tuned, as we will continue to be here, broadcasting directly from the heart of this unfathomable mystery. Here on the front lines of the most inexplicable events I've ever covered, the atmosphere is charged with an eerie calm. The streets, once teeming with life, now echo with the solitary footsteps of those who remain. The questions keep coming, each more urgent than the last. Where did everyone go? Why did some stay? I'm here, amidst the silent chaos, trying to piece together this colossal puzzle. The city, now a mosaic of memories, seems frozen in time. The shocks, with their doors half open, exude an air of abandonment. The cars, parked in the middle of the streets, resemble scenes from a post-apocalyptic film, but this is our new normal. The sky, tinted orange by the setting sun, serves as a silent reminder of the passing of time, relentless and indifferent. Talking to those left behind, I hear stories of loss and discovery, of despair and hope. A father who, picking up his daughter from school, found only empty backpacks and deserted benches. A woman who, upon entering her home, realized she was alone, all her beloved voices now mere echoes. And yet, amidst the pain, there are those who have found strength in community, in mutual support, in the rediscovery of a humanity that sometimes seemed lost. Reflection inevitably arises: what really matters? This silent catastrophe forces us to look inward, to question our priorities, our choices. Amidst loneliness, many rediscover the power of faith, resilience, and solidarity. Words of comfort and gestures of kindness become anchors in this relentless storm. As the dust settles, a new reality begins to emerge. We are confronted with the fragility of our existence and, paradoxically, with the strength that emerges from adversity. Every face I meet, every story I hear, is a testament to the human capacity to adapt, to find meaning amidst chaos. This collective experience, though devastating, holds profound lessons about loss and rediscovery. We stand before a mirror that reflects not only what we were, but what we can become. And so, as night falls, bringing with it new questions, I bid farewell to this day with the certainty that, even in darkness, there is always the promise of a new dawn. We are here, amidst a breathtaking landscape, where the air seems charged with mystery and anticipation. The scene around us is of a world silent after the inexplicable disappearance of millions. The streets, once vibrant, now echo only with the footsteps of those left behind, perplexed, staring at the void left by friends, family, and neighbors. The sensation is almost tangible, as if time itself hesitates to move forward. I look around and see faces searching for answers, their eyes fixed on the horizon. It's a picture of collective perplexity, an image that defies logic and reason. There's something in the air, an unsettling stillness, that forces us to confront questions we never imagined asking. Where did everyone go? And, perhaps more importantly, why are we still here? Connecting with the present is inevitable. In a world already marked by uncertainty, where daily challenges test our resilience, this cataclysmic event forces us to reflect on our own preparedness for what may come. The metaphor of an uncertain future, which always seems so distant, now draws near, requiring each of us to look within and question our own certainties. The sky, a vast, cloudless blue, seems indifferent to the chaos unfolding below. But paradoxically, it also offers a canvas for our deepest hopes and fears. We are all on the brink of something immense, a turning point in human history. And as events unfold, the question hanging in the air is direct and personal: are we ready to face whatever comes next? The answer, of course, lies not only in understanding what has happened, but also in the courage to prepare for what lies ahead. This moment challenges us to look beyond the visible evidence, to seek new ways of understanding, and, above all, to find within ourselves the strength to adapt to an unknown future. So, I leave you with this final image, a scene of stillness after the storm, which is not only a reflection of the present, but an invitation to look to the future with new eyes. There is a road ahead, winding and uncertain. And the question that echoes among us, in every heart and mind, is simple yet profound: are you ready?